Hi, I'm Sophie Roth,
And I'm Rakia Johnson.
and we're here bringing you another episode of
To a degree.
And today's episode is our season wrap up.
Season wrap up.
We have,
Years flown by.
it's been really fast.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to explore all of the different sort of big picture discussions about higher education. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I've learned a lot just researching for our episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's been really valuable.
It has been valuable, and it's been a time, right? Like I feel like this time
Yes,
is
pivotal
almost
time.
unprecedented
Right.
in the way education and particularly higher education has been in the United States. And so what
Yeah.
a what a great idea, Sophie, to
Thanks.
come up with batch.
Yeah. I mean, I think when most people think of education, it's not like the most exciting topic, but not this year.
Yes, this year has
Yeah.
been exciting, which is also wild because I
Yeah.
really do find it fascinating.
It is. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but this year in particular, we've had a lot to talk about. So
Yes.
I'm glad that we had the opportunity to research and learn so much more about what's going on around the world and in education. And I think, as developers, entrepreneurs, it's also good to understand, the context
Sure.
of the industry and in more depth. And so, today's episode, we're going to talk a lot more in detail about what we've been working on, which
Yeah.
is batch education. We have, we're entrepreneurs, and we've been working on developing a mobile application, which is a communication platform and a matching tool for students, while also developing tools, web-based applications for universities and high
Right.
schools. And we've just been creating, and I feel very honored that we get to work on this all the time. And we're excited that we're going to be launching to the public pretty soon.
Pretty soon, yeah, that it'll
we
be out there, and you guys. Well, even now,
Right, we are
in
beta
in
testing
beta
our
testing, yeah.
tools, and we will say this again at the end of the episode. But if anyone is interested in learning more about what we've already developed and wants to help us beta test it, you can always visit us at our landing page at batcheducation.com, BACH education.com, and you can kind of sign up to be part of our beta testers.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
It's also interesting. I would like to reiterate Sophie has been creating.
We are a team, though.
So we are a team. My job is to implement
Which is,
some of these things that have been created.
yeah.
And sometimes that's feasible and plausible to do. I think
Right.
it's also interesting to think.
Mhm.
I mean, you've been incubating this idea
Absolutely.
for years.
Yeah, about 6 years.
And so from the creation of it, a thought in your brain to what it is now to what it will be 2 years from now
Right.
will look vastly different. So
Right. It's really an honor to be able to be so creative and to work on things.
Mhm.
I know not everyone gets that opportunity. And I am definitely an idea person. So
Mhm.
unless I have a team around me, sometimes those ideas are just all in my head. And it is really hard to manifest that into something tangible like a mobile application. So without, the support of our team, which we have other team members and developers, it's a big project.
But I think that's true of anyone. Like,
Yeah.
lots of ideas. People have
Mhm.
lots of ideas, but in order to turn them into actual tangible things,
Right.
it's really difficult to do, which is why a lot of times they just kind of stop where they're at.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, pat on the
Thank
back
you.
for
Mhm.
getting
Pushing.
batch and pushing and putting it together,
Yeah.
and also knowing when to limit ideas.
Right.
And
That's
it's like,
maybe the hardest part for me.
right? It's kind
Yeah.
of like, here's where we are right now. This is what we can do now.
Yeah.
And then what can we do, or looking at the future thing.
Yeah. And also just speaking about the context of when this is coming through, I did start developing this idea years ago. We've all worked in higher education, so it's a pretty simple concept for us. But the fact that today this is a tool that's going to be so useful in today's, higher education industry, I think that's what I'm most excited about, right? Like, the timing is also really
The
important
timing has been
for ideas.
impeccable, as
Impeccable,
they say. The timing
impeccable
is
timing.
impeccable.
I agree with that. And so I'll go into, a little more detail about it again. So I want to start with like the philosophy that of what brought us here, because the intention behind our idea is just as important to me as the idea itself.
Right.
And so I think, as higher education professionals, we've seen what things are like from the admissions side, the college side, but we've also been students who have gone and earned degrees. And so I think we have both perspectives to come from.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we always say is that, earning a degree is an investment of time and money,
Right.
which is very similar to a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people approach finding a life partner with a lot of intention, right? And they use a lot of different tools. And so I think our philosophy is, let's approach finding the right college with the same intention as we do finding the right life partner.
Right.
Because it is sort of a lifelong relationship that you end up developing with your alma mater. And so if we start from there, and if we try to match everyone, like if we're the matchmakers, we're matching students with their dream colleges, and sort of this like lovey-dovey philosophy, I think. But if we take that approach, I think we're going to have better outcomes on the other side, because you're not just going to a college, you're not just earning a degree, you're not just like putting a check mark on, this part of your career. You're really trying to form this like, lifelong partnership so that you can have a career that's really fulfilling maybe in the end.
Right.
So I love that our philosophy is like kind of lovey-dovey and a little bit more fun, and we can give students a different approach of how to go through this like college search journey, because I think a lot of times it's very like statistical and kind of a cold process.
Right.
And I think in this way, we empower students to really make good long-term decisions.
And I think that's one of the way colleges try to warm up the process is with recruiters.
Right.
So they have the college fairs, and you kind of meet with a recruiter, and a recruiter will meet with you and your family.
Yeah.
And you kind of establish that rapport there. But even though if you're establishing a rapport with a recruiter, you're not necessarily establishing that rapport with the institution. They represent an institution, but we're hoping that what Batch will do is that you establish a rapport, you establish a rapport with the institution. Like you kind of get each other. And I think institutions also want to be, they understand that they're in the business of changing the lives of young adults. Right. They're fully aware of that, and they're fully aware that the magnitude of that role is.
The lifelong impact, right?
Right. And so they want to be as one-on-one as they possibly can be with students when it comes to that admission process, because I mean, they get it. They also know. They know better than the student how much this is going to impact their lives. And I think one of the things I loved about working with students, particularly my freshman students, and seeing what they were like by the time they graduated, it's
such a journey.
World of difference.
Right.
And they are unaware of what their lives are going to be like on the other side of it. Yeah. And they're going to grow in so many ways that really have nothing to do with education, which is why it's so important that you find the right school, because there's lessons that are going to be learned that are not in the classroom. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really, it's so cool. I'm excited because the opportunity right now, the climate right now, even though things are in this world and it seems very volatile and all these unknowns, and to be able to put it at someone's fingertips and it's like, actually,
let's make it easy.
Let's look at some things that you can really connect with over these schools. Wow, you really like environmental science, and wow, you're really into, I don't know, German history.
Yeah.
Cool.
Go study there.
Yeah. Go study environmental science in Germany.
Yeah. And I think, so the problem that we're trying to solve as entrepreneurs is something that we would face like daily, I think, within the admissions offices, is that there's like a big disconnect. So universities really want to attract students who are a good fit. Students want to research schools and find a good fit college, but they're going at it like ships in the night, right? Like they're passing each other. And it's hard because universities have limited resources. There's maybe an admissions team of like, let's say 5 to 10 people on average. And they're trying to recruit from basically a pool of millions, right?
Right.
And so, how? You can do a handful of high school college fairs. You can send out emails and do drip campaigns that no one reads. Like conversion rates on those email campaigns are really abysmally low.
Yeah.
You can get a list of students who you send to a call center in another country and people cold call. Like these are the ways that universities will approach finding students. Students, on the other hand, might have like a guidance counselor in their school or might rely on their parents. And maybe they're looking online or like we did in like those big old encyclopedia books or whatever. And so there's just a disconnect between these two parties that have to really match in a very meaningful way. And so what we're developing at Batch is it looks like a dating app, right? And so students put in their profiles, universities put in their profiles, and based on, you know, some behind the scenes magic, we match students. And students can filter by a lot of different preferences, and it really narrows down their research while expanding it at the same time. So we're just really excited about the technology behind it. We believe that it's going to sort of bring the stress down for students if all they have to do is make a profile and then like start swiping away. And once they've matched with colleges, it opens up a line of communication with our partner schools, and they can start these meaningful conversations with these schools. And that's what I call like the dating phase, because, you know, before someone gets married or enters into a partnership, they should
Getting to know each other.
Get to know other people, get to know everyone, make sure you know like all the fish in the sea, and then find the one that's like the best match for you. And so during this college research phase, I think that's probably the most important piece. Know what's out there, see how they stack up against each other, compare and contrast, and then find the right fit for you. So that you don't just go to a college and maybe drop out a year later. You go for 4 years, you earn a degree, you blossom as a person, and you come out the other end, you know, with a career and an education and a network that's really strong and a good lifelong relationship with a university. So to me, that's the value that we're creating, right? Is that connection.
Right.
Our job is matchmaking. Our job is connection. And I hope the impact we have is on the other side is better outcomes for students, better ROI for a college degree, and for universities, a better or maximizing their outreach, their marketing, their admissions teams are going to be more efficient.
Their matriculation
numbers will be a little more steady. And so, you know, I think there's the right fit for everyone. And I think that our tools are going to help people make those connections. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So in the meantime, what did we do? We had a little bit of a party.
Oh, I was like, what have we done? We did our launch party, which I was so excited about. It's, as an entrepreneur, you know, you've been working on these things behind the scenes for a really long time. And I think it's so important to take those moments to sort of pat yourself on the back and just be like, hey, we worked really hard. We made something.
We did something, yeah.
And so happy that in October we got to celebrate with a lot of, you know, people in the industry, education professionals, family and friends just came to, you know, congratulate us on the work we've done so far. And I think, you know, what our ask is at this point is we need to get in front of more people. We need to get the word out about Batch. We need to partner with high schools and students and universities. And so we're in that mode. We're in the kind of salesy mode, to just,
Marketing, getting people
yeah.
hearing more about Badge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of frustrating because you have a good product, and once people hear it, they're like, "Oh,
Right. What a cool idea.
yeah," and
You're like,
it's like,
isn't it?
"Yes, so let's
Yeah.
do it." And so it's
Mm-hmm.
great to have that reaction as well from
Yes.
people,
At least it's
which is
validating. Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
It is. And we have so much work ahead. It's like, yeah, we've gotten this far, but there's sort of a tipping point, I think, for a lot of companies where
Mm,
um, you've done this work, but you need a little push to get on the other side of things and start building those partnerships. And, the momentum builds on itself, right? So the
right.
more student users we have, or the more high schools that we have signed up with us, the more university partners we'll have in the end. And with the information that we receive from students, we'll be able to fine tune all of our tools.
Right.
And so it's sort of a chicken and the egg game right now. But I'm proud of what we've built so far. I think it's such a cool idea. I think one of the unique features that we have that's so important right now, is how we're emphasizing, in addition to US universities, all of these universities that are outside of the US that are, accredited, they have, good reputations. We're focused right now on schools that are offering degrees, entirely in English, for our current kind of user base. And there are so many opportunities. I've learned so much about it. And so I want to sort of challenge, US students to mobilize, like fly abroad.
Yeah.
And
And
not just study abroad. I don't want you to do 6 weeks in Spain. I want you to do 4 years outside of the US, get out of your comfort zone, earn a degree for maybe like a fifth of the cost, and
mhm,
see where that brings you. I mean, there's really great opportunities that we haven't considered that much here in the US.
right, right. And there's
Mm-hmm.
so much more opportunity, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
language barrier is always a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Americans are notoriously known for only speaking one language.
Mm-hmm.
And then in some ways, we kind of demonize people for speaking multiple languages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Depending on the language, right? That can be its own other thing. But um, what a great opportunity, right? So you can go to Mexico and get an architecture degree fully in English and
Mm-hmm.
also learn Spanish.
Right.
And that's not a part of your curriculum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have the opportunity to just do that on your own time outside of school. And you will naturally just because you're living in a
You're
country.
in an immersive environment,
Right,
right?
you're in an immersive environment. Provided you do it right. I have had students. I did have a student from Mexico who's like, my English has gotten worse since I've been in America. And I was like, stop speaking to only Spanish to all of your friends.
Yes.
I was like, make it a rule right now that when you're on campus, you only speak English here.
Mm-hmm.
So, things like that you can put in place to really kind of help facilitate
Mm-hmm.
something that's a really cool opportunity. And so you finish up with the degree, you earn your degree. It's a great recognized international degree.
Right.
And you've picked up a language, right?
Right. And you have the multicultural experience, which is valuable. I mean, we're in a very global world. You're going to work at a company that most likely has relationships or other bases outside of the US. So if you have multicultural experience, it's going to translate very well
Right.
on your resume. And the opportunity to live abroad, to learn a different language, to be surrounded by a lot of different cultures, and just be way outside of your comfort zone is, I think, it gives you an opportunity for really great growth. And I don't think anyone's ever going to take a hit because they earned a degree outside of the US
Right.
with all these things. So, yeah, I think especially this piece of our company is maybe the most valuable or the biggest differentiator between a lot of the other companies doing similar things.
Yeah.
You know.
And I would say education, right? Education's, it's rare to be a loss, right?
Correct.
And that's anywhere in the world, right? Like where you earn your degree, having a degree, getting knowledge, gaining knowledge. And the idea of doing that outside of the country, I'm sure for a lot of people is incredibly scary.
Intimidating, right?
Very intimidating. But that also leads you the opportunity, because if you're one of 5 other people,
right,
you become really good friends real quick.
Yeah.
With those 4 other people that are also from America and different parts of America that you're earning a degree abroad with.
Right.
So that's a real opportunity there that I think, and it grows and stretches you in a way that you're unaware. College grows and stretches you in a way that you're unaware of, but to add that extra piece is also really, really cool. And it's also really rare that people have that experience who come back and say it was terrible and I wish I hadn't have done it.
Correct.
Like it's extremely, extremely rare.
Right. And
for someone to have that
overall net negative experience.
Right.
I mean, it's not that it's not hard. And it's not for everyone. But
absolutely.
There are definitely students who I'm like, you're ready to do this. You're totally up for this adventure. And I mean, it would really make you stand out, I think. You know, it's like, oh, I went to study abroad here. I think too, like, there are countries that are doing certain industries really well.
Right.
For instance, like I always say, this is one of my main examples. If you want to study sustainable energy, I would go to Scandinavia. They're really at the forefront of so much sustainable energy and engineering. I think that would be an amazing place to study there. Right. I think if you're into fashion, look at programs in Paris offered entirely in English.
Right.
If you're into history, you can go to like Edinburgh University. It is historically one of the oldest universities in the Western European world. And I mean, fascinating. And you just like being in those buildings has to be so inspiring. And so, you know, if you're into literature, maybe go to a school that was, you know, originally affiliated or is very well researched in like Shakespearean literature. There are so many unique offerings around the world where, yes, of course you could study those things here in the US, but if you're really into something, look at where they're doing it best right now. Yeah. And so I hate for students to limit themselves. And I think one of the things I want Batch to do is highlight these really unique, interesting programs and industries from around the world and help students, like, you know, take those steps towards it.
And you said something very interesting. You're like, it's not for every student.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's important to know, too. I mean, to be perfectly honest, college isn't for every student.
Correct.
Either. And for a lot of students, I would say college isn't something for every student now. Right? So right now or the next 2 years, it may not be something that you're interested in. That doesn't mean it's not something that you can do 5-10 years from now. And those opportunities still exist. You can still learn and go to school abroad, even as an adult student, a much older, mature student, which again, not really thinking about that, something that you would consider or something that you can do, but those opportunities are out there and they do exist.
Right.
In a lot of different ways that you may not have considered or thought about. So,
yeah. And, you know, college isn't necessarily a 4-year path for everyone. There are non-traditional students. There are non-traditional programs. I think a lot of schools are actually innovating right now in terms of, you know, schools here are sort of matching the European and like I want to say Australian degrees where it's like 3 years, a little bit more accelerated. There are schools that are doing apprenticeship programs, internships built into it, sort of baked in there. There are schools that have international campuses where you basically just hop. So you do 1 degree in one country, 1 year in one country, 2nd year in another country, 3rd year in a 3rd country. And I mean, incredible, right?
Right.
So there are all of these opportunities and we're not even really researching them.
Right.
And that seems intimidating in and of itself. Like, how do you find out about all of those things? And I think Batch puts it in at your fingertips. And I don't see any other technology that would be doing that right now.
Right.
So, it takes the temperature down on the stress. Like literally just lay in your bed and you can just swipe thousands of universities. I think right now we're at 60,000 subject areas.
Right.
And so the amount of opportunities that there are for you to study and the amount of schools that there are to study is just so vast. And then we are building a tool that helps you like do that research in a way that's just easy, right? And so then you find the one and you know,
Commit.
match and go get your bachelor's degree.
Swipe, match, batch.
Yeah, easy as that. So we're really excited about what we're doing. We are hoping to kind of work out the bugs in the current iteration of the mobile app.
And we would love, again, I think we mentioned before
Yeah.
about people beta testing with us. Please,
Yeah.
we'd love for you to beta test with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can sign up right on our landing page. And again, that's bacheducation.com, BACH education.com. Sign up with us. We'll send you an invite to beta test. And then once it's published, on the app stores, we hope everyone just kind of goes out and downloads it and plays with the tool.
And no, we're always be free for students to download Batch.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. We believe very strongly in equity, and the most important thing to me for this tool is to help level the playing field. Not everyone's family, mine included, could help with like hiring an education consultant. I went to a public school. We had maybe one guidance counselor per 200 plus, maybe 300 plus students.
Right.
I don't know that I ever spoke to them about college.
I feel like I didn't either.
I know. So this is a tool that empowers students to do this on their own or with the support of other people, but it will always be free. Always be free for high schools, always be free for students. And we want to make sure that we're giving everyone the same opportunities.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for schools too, we can't guarantee it'll always be free for schools.
Well, universities. We will have a system though.
Right.
So there will always be an option for universities, that there is a free option for universities basically. It will have less features. But the idea is that universities partner with us in a way where they maintain their profiles and in order to communicate directly to students, then they partner with us.
Right.
And so, it's I think a good model for them because it has a lot of benefits.
Right. It's a benefit for, universities to get reach for a student that they may not, right? A school in Iowa may not have the opportunity to go and meet with students in New Mexico.
Right.
So it's like, wow, this is a really great student here in New Mexico. And they're like, wow, I'm seeing a lot of students from this school in New Mexico.
Right.
Maybe we need to make a trip
exactly
to New Mexico, to take a look at these schools.
Really help inform them on where to go and how to communicate. I think what it does is it erases borders. Right. So schools or universities who are sort of limited by their resources and are bound with these borders of like, well, we'll just recruit locally, kind of, maybe a couple of other places.
Right.
It erases all of that. It opens everything up.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I think it's a really useful tool for universities, and I think it's a tool that students will utilize and build, equity and access to universities for them. I think it'll support high school counselors who are really doing heavy lifting for that college, for seniors and helping them find the right places to go for college and really help them support those seniors. And so I think, I believe that Batch has this sort of big positive impact that it's going to make. And I'm excited to see everyone use it. I can't wait for it to be in people's hands.
And then people getting matched up and just kind of going about their way. And
Yes.
Batch was a part of that process.
Yes.
It's
And
kinda like
we're the matchmakers.
we're the
right?
matchmakers.
That's its
The
own.
Russell Wilson Sierra
Yeah.
matchmaking celebrity couple.
Oh, happy to be a part of it in any way I can. But yeah,
Let me shout it out.
it has it's fulfilling for us too if we're part of that positive impact down the line. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about what we're building, and I'm excited for everyone to try it out and to get it out into the world finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you'll be hearing more from us in
Mhm.
2026 and where we're
Yes.
going from there.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for being with us on this journey, and we'll see you next season.